Katie and I got married this month. For our honeymoon, we went on a cruise in the Bahamas. So I brought along Babysitters on Board, the super special book where the girls go to the Bahamas on a cruise. Here's the premise. Mr. Pike's work gave him a free family cruise, probably because they didn't know he has 8 kids. Kristy's stepdad Watson must think there's a competition to see who can bring the most people on a cruise, because he takes his entire family and the Babysitters Club on the same cruise. Now we've got 21 characters, 8 different narrators, and $35,000 of debt. On the flight to Florida, Karen is impressed that her lunch comes with salt. Really? I'm impressed that they gave out free lunch on an airplane. Kristy goes with Karen into the airplane's bathroom, which is kind of gross and totally unnecessary because 6-year-olds know how bathrooms work. Kristy doesn't know how the bathroom works, though, and she has a hard time figuring out how to lock the door. This all happens in Chapter 1. We're not starting the book off on the right foot here. Kristy is bossy, so she decides the girls must have Babysitters Club meetings every day, even though Marianne and Stacey are the only ones babysitting. Wait a minute, Stacey? She was kicked out of the series 2 books ago! How did she get back so quickly? Kristy is sharing a room with Dawn and Claudia. Dawn and Kristy immediately butt heads because Kristy is a huge slob and Dawn is a neat freak who hates messes. Please note this book is the only time in the series where Dawn is a neat freak. In every other book, her house is a mess, and she complains about Marianne's tidiness. Continuity! For the entire book, Kristy upsets Dawn by making messes, and Dawn upsets Kristy by cleaning up. It's not very interesting, so Dawn trades up for a better storyline. She finds a vacation boyfriend named Parker. In Marianne's chapter, we learn that she won't be doing much babysitting in this book, because babysitting is boring. It's because the adults decided the 4 oldest kids are mature enough to be on their own. Well, gee, if only half the kids are being watched, why didn't they bring half the babysitters, Marianne meets a girl with big boobs. She is highly impressed, and she can't help but say, wow. This is not the first time that Marianne has ogled other women. There was that bikini scene in Book 8, and she did all of that bra talk in Book 10. Still, I think it's super awkward that Marianne is checking out other girls' chests. Fun fact, I read the Amazon Kindle version of this book, which comes with popular highlights. Do you know how many people highlighted the boobs section? 6. Apparently some Babysitters Club fans are perverts. The busty girl is Alex Carmody, and she's by herself because her parents were killed. Marianne is super impressed by Alex's sophistication, and the 2 girls bond over the fact that they have dead parents. Chapter 4 is narrated by Mallory, who does a weird cat smiley face near her signature for some reason. Mallory spies on a bunch of strangers because one time she read a spy book. She gets excited when she thinks she found a celebrity and a stowaway, but it eventually turns out she was wrong. Mallory's next chapter is Chapter 17. Do you know what happens in between her 2 chapters? Half of the book happens. That's the main problem with this book. The storylines are too spaced out. Do you like the story with Alex or Parker? Too bad! You have to wait another 60 pages before they appear again. Karen narrates Chapter 5. Kristy sends Karen to get something from their room, but Karen is distracted. She ends up getting a full manicure and a drink. Surprisingly, Kristy is perfectly fine with Karen wasting their parents' money without permission. She even takes a picture of the manicure, and it's one of several pictures that appear in this book. They all look like they were drawn by little kids, but that's probably on purpose. Claudia needs a storyline, so she gets a note from a secret admirer. He buys her fancy earrings, and he follows her around the entire day. Claudia doesn't know who it is because every time she turns around, he dives out of sight. And as book number 2 taught us, Claudia thinks it's romantic when a boy hides and watches every single thing she does. Personally, I think it's creepy. Stacey meets a child named Mark Kubaki. Mark Kubaki has a heart condition, so he spends all of his time in a wheelchair. Stacey has diabetes, so she can sympathize with being chronically ill. Mark and Stacey become good friends. Kristy meets her own cruise buddy, an old man named Rudy Staples. He's grumpy because his wife died recently. Kristy tries to get him interested in dating her grandmother, and the two of them become friends. They have fun playing video games and shuffleboard together. When Kristy goes back to her room, though, all of the beds have been made! The horror! Either Dawn is being neat again, or the cruise has room service! Kristy goes directly to her mom and complains that she needs a new room because she cannot handle being with Dawn anymore. Kristy, get a life. The final narrator of the book is Kristy's older brother. Ha ha, just kidding. Kristy's older brothers never appear anywhere in this book. Instead, the last narrator is Byron, one of the Pike triplets. The boys play pirate, and Byron finds an old paper, which could be a treasure map. Fun fact, Katie and I visited the Pirate Museum in Nassau on our honeymoon. We learned that pirates didn't make treasure maps. Like normal people, they didn't bury their money, they spent it. This has nothing at all to do with the book, I just thought that was interesting. Dawn spends more time with Parker, and they have a mini argument. Parker hates his new stepfamily, and he thinks remarriages should not be allowed. Dawn disagrees, and she secretly thinks that Parker is being rude and selfish. The very next page, she decides Parker is her boyfriend, and it's true love because he's cute. What? Dawn, that is not the right conclusion to make after a big, unresolved fight. When Claudia tries to find her secret admirer, she meets a boy named Timothy. Timothy is nice and he has gorgeous eyelashes, so Claudia starts to crush on him. Timothy tells Claudia that her secret admirer is a nice guy who's shy around girls, and yep, Timothy's the secret admirer. I can tell. The cruise ends and everyone goes to Disney World. This stops the Kristy-Dawn feud because the girls are now in new hotel rooms. Sure, it was the room that caused the fight, not the fact that Kristy is insufferable. Kristy and Dawn celebrate their renewed friendship by turning on the TV and looking for R-rated movies. Fortunately for the Disney staff, they don't find any. The final third of the book is a huge advertisement for Disney World. Anne Martin spends a lot of time describing all the rides and attractions. I certainly hope she was well compensated for this. Clearly she hasn't been to Disney World herself because she thinks Main Street is more exciting than Space Mountain. Main Street! The place with no rides whatsoever, no way is that better than Space Mountain! Karen has another chapter. Her dialogue is stilted. Every sentence is short. It is not fun. I did not enjoy it. She sees characters. She likes Main Street. She loves Main Street. Main Street is fun. She rides the Haunted Mansion. It is scary. She likes ghosts. Claudia helps Dawn pick out an outfit for her all-day date with Parker. This outfit is horrible. All lavender? I wear khakis every day, and even I know that would be hideous. The date goes well until Dawn loses her special unicorn bracelet. Parker buys her a new one, and he kisses her on the cheek. Aw, how cute. Dawn's unicorn bracelet is found later by Byron, who is still looking for buried treasure. A random passerby tells Byron that his treasure map is a fake. It's really a copy machine diagram written in Dutch. I'm not sure how Byron confused it for a map since those are completely different things. Mallory does more spying and she discovers that Alex's parents aren't dead. In fact, her parents are minor celebrities. Marianne is so furious that she marches straight up to Alex and chews her out for lying. Alex follows her all around Disney World trying to apologize, and Marianne ignores her the entire time because she is getting a major power trip from criticizing the busty chick. Karen has another chapter. She lies and says it's her birthday so she can force everyone to sing to her. She loves all the attention. She's basically a selfish brat, and her spin-off series started the month after this book. I'm inspired to make a drinking game for Karen's narration. Take a shot every time she lies, draws attention to herself, or explains something obvious. You'll be drunk by the end of the book. And let's face it, that's probably the best way to read this book. Timothy! He talks to Claudia, and he's got a confession to make. He is her secret admirer. I called it! He also confesses that he is Alex's brother. The two of them lie all the time to get attention because they feel neglected by their famous parents. Claudia is fine with having a boyfriend who constantly lies, and Timothy kisses her after the fireworks show. Kindle tells me the kiss scene was highlighted by 6 people. But Dawn's kiss scene wasn't highlighted by anyone. Apparently Dawn is not interesting. Well, now that Claudia has Timothy, every girl in the series has had a vacation boyfriend, except for Kristy, who doesn't get one until Super Special 15, 10 years from now. Poor Kristy. She's almost as unpopular as Dawn. The book ends with a Babysitters Club meeting, of course. The girls decide to make a scrapbook of their vacation. Mr. Staples becomes Kristy's new pen pal. Mark has successful heart surgery. And Dawn never hears from Parker again. The end. Post-book follow-up. The main problem with this book is the format. As I mentioned earlier, there is a 60 to 70 page gap in between each part of the storylines. Unless you're reading the entire book in one sitting, it's hard to remember what's going on. I, for one, confuse Claudia's vacation boyfriend with Dawn's vacation boyfriend, since they're basically the exact same person. The stories are pretty shallow, since none of them last more than 3 chapters. All the girls have to do is talk to someone once or twice, and bam! It's a lifelong friendship. Is there a problem somewhere? Bam! It's resolved. We don't have time for plot development. Let's spend another 15 pages talking about how great Disney World is, and how the lines are only 10 to 20 minutes long. Which is another thing that bugged me about this book. The lines in Disney World are not that short, especially since this is July before the invention of FastPass. Another problem with this book is how it switches narration every single chapter. It's a good idea, but it doesn't work well here, because all of the characters sound exactly the same. Like, everyone constantly makes parenthetical remarks. I don't like Karen's stilted dialogue, but at least she talks differently than the others. The storyline I disliked the most was the Kristy-Dawn feud. Dawn magically becomes a neat freak for the sake of having a fight with Kristy. It's a contrived excuse for introducing dramatic tension. My favorite storyline was the one with Mr. Staples because he and Kristy have real chemistry together. It felt like they were setting up for a later book where Mr. Staples meets Kristy's grandmother, but that never happened. Overall, this is a collection of unrelated short stories with a lot of Disney World advertisement thrown in. It might be longer than a normal book, but the normal books have better, more fleshed out stories. I didn't like this book, but I'd say it's just more boring than it is actually bad. It's not bad, and if you like, a bunch of little fun stories, then this is the book for you. I give Babysitters Club Super Special Number 1, Babysitters on Board, a 3 out of 10.